everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S, Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 483. We are that podcast that talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm DJ Ranma S.
I'm Ari Rockefeller.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Ichigo Gami.
Whoa! Besides the snow, how is everybody doing tonight?
Oh, God, I feel so tired.
I got to stay home from work for the last 2 days and enjoy the snow, at least looking at it, so I'm good.
Snow day! Hype in the chat for snow day, and hype in the chat for those who may not have enjoyed the snow day, but maybe you enjoyed a cup of hot cocoa, or listening to your favorite book on Audible or whatever service you use for that, or enjoyed blanket forts and stuff.
I have been overly enjoying my loose leaf tea, so much so that I'm almost out of loose leaf tea.
I saw you post about that the other day, and I was like, Dryad Tea better watch out, Mako coming for their brand.
Yeah,
That's not
I gotta
good.
look into a couple of them.
I haven't left my apartment the entire day. I mean, I didn't have work, and I heard there was going to be... I was still, snowing... The roads are still a mess. I'm just like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, you guys got it much worse than we did. We got like a piddly 3 to 5 inches. It wasn't very much, and it melted away super fast. But I've been watching the news for you guys.
The problem is it's not going to melt all that soon here.
3 to 5 inches.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Ichigo.
That's nothing for me. I mean, that's French
Are
toast
you happy
parties.
now?
Excuse me, I have to go and beat a cat.
Well,
You
go.
probably could have
all right.
phrased that better.
All right, so within the last 30 seconds, we found out that 3 to 5 inches isn't enough for Ichigo, and Mako has another pussy cat to deal with, okay? I understand cabin fever, but we are a family-friendly show, y'all. Have some manners.
And as you see, we also have a jester who enjoys his own humor. Welcome to the stream.
Well, somebody has to. I'm just saying. Anywho, we are live tonight, week of February 2nd, 2021, right here on Twitch TV. You can find us here every Tuesday night from 9:30 to 11 at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session. And you can also find us also through the Voice of Geeks Network at vognetwork.com. And you can find us syndicated through them at Twitch TV/VogNetwork. And come hang out with us in Discord at vognetwork.com/Discord. Every show on the Voice of Geeks Network has a channel, so come through, hang out, and have some fun with us. So yeah, it's all in good fun, and I would say good faith, but then again, I honestly don't know anymore. Oh man. Sounds like Mako-chan is back.
Yeah.
What did Damien do this time?
Oh, it wasn't Damien. It was my cousin Donna's cat Jeter. He was playing with a string that he found that happened to be attached to one of the dresses on the back of my door. So I needed to go chase him away from it and fix that.
Fair
Jeter?
enough. Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yes, there are currently 3 cats roaming around in my apartment right now.
Gives Zoom meaning to Three's company.
Yeah. One is a visitor, and he likes to explore, and he's a little bit crazy.
I mean, he does look
I'm
like
sure that makes for great zoomies at 11 p.m.
He's actually not that bad. He does sleep quite a bit, but he plays with the younger of the 2 cats that are permanently in residence here. So the 2 of them do have some fabulous zoomy episodes, leaving my old man alone for the most part.
crotchety old man, and Honestly, Jeter looks like
the
he.
other one? I forget the other one's name.
Callie.
Callie. Okay.
Honestly, Jeter looks like he's too stoned to be doing anything. So
No,
just
no,
saying.
he is. He's a wild one sometimes.
Okay.
He's a climber. Most of the time, though, he just likes to curl up and nap. But when he gets into a mood, he really gets into a mood.
Curl up and nap, huh? Sounds like your kind of cat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man! All right, let's see. Let's crank this up just a little. There we go. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and go through things. Let me bring this back over here. Let's kick things off with how was your week? How was your day, Ari? And right after this, I'll give everybody an update on what happened to all of us last week and then some. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's mostly been just work stuff for me. I mean, I did get paid today,
Ka-ching.
and bills got taken care of. What is it? Debt consolidation thing went through, card payment, all that good stuff. February's nice because my birthday's coming up, but in March it's another 3 check months, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll be able to have enough money to upgrade my computer, have money for that.
Yep.
A lot more of that stored away.
Mm.
And I want to get a chase lounger for my living room, because all I have is just a love seat and a couple of awkward looking chairs. And I like to lay on my left side when I'm watching TV or whatever. And the right arm of the couch, the love seat, just it makes it uncomfortable.
Ari, I will have to say, you kind of remind me of the dude right now.
Far out, man.
The Ari abides.
Yeah, I had gotten out of the shower after making tacos for dinner, and I'm just like, this is good enough. Throw on the pajama pants, and here I am.
Bro, I just want you to know, I just started wearing sweatpants to the stream. I come in, normally when I was working, come in, I would just change shirts. I'd still be basically in work gear, or if it's during the summer, I would change it to shorts. But I think for the last couple of months, I actually bought some sweatpants. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to come home after I run my errands, change out of my my cargos, put on a nice comfy pair of sweats, and just relax. That's what I've been doing. I'm like, I feel good,
Well, 90% of the time, I'm in my pajamas anyway, because I go straight to bed because I have to get up early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I always look kind of ragged on some of these streams.
Psh, please. Last I recall, I don't think any of us need to come to the stream live with our very best threads. We're just here to just chill out. That's the way I look at it. So
this is why I'm not on camera.
Also, I filled up my apartment with smoke making candied bacon earlier.
Well, Mako, that and when you are on camera, you do look like Mandy from Grim Adventures, so the slightest tick in your face is going to cause something to explode.
Yeah.
Or knowing her will cause her to explode.
Well, we need all the viewers that we can, so we don't need their equipment exploding, so,
But that's the fun of it.
And,
Why do you think Koi keeps coming on the show?
and this is why you remind me of Maze from Lucifer, okay?
Thank you.
That and the knives.
Yeah.
Anywho, Ari, thanks for the update. Mako-chan, how was your week? How was your day?
Snow. Yeah, I've just been enjoying the hell out of the snow. I'm one of those really weird people that enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy it when I don't have to actually do anything for it. So, yesterday, I worked from home for the first part of the day, and then they ended up giving us 4 hours of PTO because they closed the office But those that could work from home were able to work from home.
Right.
But for those that didn't, they basically said, hey, we'll give you 4 hours of PTO, and you can figure out how you want to get those extra 4 hours, whether that's working late or whatever.
That sounds cool.
So I worked for half a day, and then the other half I went out and cleaned off my car. But basically, I looked at my car and I moved the snow off of my car and said, that's good enough. So getting to work home today was awesome because I haven't even seen my car. I have no idea the additional snow and what it looks like. So I don't have to deal with that until tomorrow.
Additional snow?
That's a tomorrow problem.
Well, you figure I went out yesterday at about 2 o'clock to clean my car. Since 2 o'clock yesterday, it has snowed, and we've had additional accumulation of snow and rain and sleet, and it's wet and it's gross and it's nasty outside. So I haven't been out there, but I have, considering it snowed off and on all day, whatever accumulated since 2 o'clock yesterday on my car.
See, you talk about the mix of snow, sleet, rain. So here it was light snow, then stopped, dumped down on us, a little bit of rain and sleet, then back to more snow. And then this afternoon we got like maybe a quarter of an inch drop down again. So, hey.
Most of the snow that's out there is so waterlogged, it's not even, fun snow.
Yeah, this
heavy and wet and a pain in the ass to move.
Oh, it would be amazing snow to take and, form into balls and hope that it drops down to freezing temperatures and then, peg somebody with it. That's just my opinion. Well, that's just my opinion, but that's the consistency of the snow. It's really good for ice balls.
I mean, see this.
I didn't think I would ever have to go into the concussion protocol after a snowball fight.
See, I am now reminded of
what I play to win.
See, I'm reminded of the Calvin and Hobbes comic strips where Calvin would have a snowball in the freezer, and he would take it out during the summer and just peg Susie with it.
I play to win.
Lord. That's a step up from playing to win, It's like, stop, he's already dead,
What? If they can't fight back, I win.
Do you hear this woman?
Yeah, that's a big brain play on Mako-chan.
I mean, I can't hate, especially since, I was watching Lucifer earlier, and it's the episode where, the young girl Trixie is learning to use Maze's knives. I'm just like, that is like one of the most awesome shit ever. I mean, a 7-year-old that knows how to use deadly knives. I mean, that's awesome. Actually, no, I think she's actually 10 by this time. My bad,
I don't know. I haven't watched the series in a while. That's one of the ones I have to sit down and rewatch, seeing as how, it's done now.
I thought it was supposed to be another season after this.
Yeah, but by the time I actually get to watching it, that season will be out.
Yeah. And as Sia Tabiri says, that sounds more like playing the MAME. Oh, if you only knew.
MAME, win, same word.
Okay. Ichigo, how was your week? How was your day?
It's been a time. So for those who've been following any of me on social media, whatever, I recently replaced my computer rig with the assistance of lovely DJ Ranma S here at Anime Jam Session at twitch.tv. And so I have been dealing with reloading all of that and redoing my stream completely. But I mean, it still looks the same. I had to, since I use OBS, I had to upload all my plugins and stuff, and it was just like a whole rigmarole. So I've been working on that, and that has been a time, and that's been pretty much what I've been doing all week. I'm really excited. I just have a few more pieces to get to basically make like my non-VESA mount monitor VESA compatible, and then I shall have my new monstrosity, and it's great, and I'm very excited. I have honestly been chewing people's ears off, so I am sorry.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's funny that you mentioned getting your non-VESA monitor VESA ready. I have another friend who just upgraded her machine because her ex is a douchebag, and I'm helping her get it up and running, and the monitor that she has is not VESA compatible. I'm just like, what do you mean it's not VESA compatible? And I'm sitting here going, monitors in the last 5 years have that VESA standard. How does it not? But I ended up finding an adapter for her monitor that makes it VESA compatible, so we're good.
Yeah, that's nice. There are some companies like Human Centric and a few other companies out there that do make like 3D printed mounts or mounts that are compatible, but unfortunately the LG monitor that I am borrowing from my hubs until I can afford to get a secondary monitor is not VESA compatible because it's just a little too old. He's a little too old, honey.
Stay off of Human Centric. They charge way too much money for what they're offering. Believe you me.
And I understand like why they charge what they do, but at the same time, yeah, like if I had more like 3D printing minded brain, and I like had the 3D printer, like that's a big part of like 3D printing, I think, is having the material, the filament, and maybe the printer too. I don't know, guys. Chat, you can chime in on that. But I have some friends that have 3D printers. I'm just not. I've never worked in like Shapeways or thingamajigs or whatever the other programs are to make them. So it would be a project. I like I was telling Ranma the other day, I get tech tired. I can sew all day long, and I can do tech stuff. We can talk tech. I can talk some turkey, some chicken, whatever. But my brain, at the end of the day, staring at screens, it makes me very tired. But yeah, that's basically what I've been working on all week, is getting my rig up and running so that this Thursday I can come back with a 1-2 punch, and hopefully have a really nice stream.
Gotcha. And we can't wait for that.
Yay!
All right, so my weekend day is the same old. I've just been chilling at home, just taking care of stuff around the house, and, and here we are. So here's what happened with last week's show. So, excuse me. So Mako-chan messages me and says she's not feeling well, so I'm not going to be able to do the show. No problem. I have a rule of 3. I got to have at least 3 people to work with if I have to. If not, there is no show. Granted, I could do it with 2, but to me, it's a lot more entertaining when you can bounce off of like 2 other people, making it 3. So that's not a problem. Then later, Ichigo messages me saying she's not feeling well. She will stick around, but she may have to bail on the way, like towards the end of the show. Now, as you all know, from time to time, Ari will bounce out a little bit before the end of the show because he has to get up early for work. So that's completely understandable. But I don't know what time Ichigo's going to bounce in and out. So I'm just like, let me see if I can get Wild Spice or Koi Bug to join us, even though it was very last minute. And I had a feeling they couldn't do it. And unfortunately, they were not able to, which is completely understandable. I really don't expect anyone to drop everything at the last minute to join for a last minute thing. So I'm like, we'll make the best of it. If she bows out around a certain time, it's me and Ari. We got this covered. Then I get stuck on the train for about an hour. For those of you who live in New York City, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't, let me summarize it for you. Signal issues. I was literally 4 to 5 stops away from my house. And I'm sitting there with my groceries and my dinner. And I couldn't get an Uber to get me home. An Uber would have gotten me home in about 10 to 15 minutes tops. But I could not get one. I did not get into... By the time the train started up and got me home, and I got into this house, it was like 10 after 9, and I was like, no. I am not properly mentally prepared to do a show, because from 9 to 9:25 is when I fire up everything on the system, get everything prepped, ready to go. I don't have that time period, so it's like... And then the next day, I'm sick for a couple of days. It was just like a heavy cold, but I am fine. I was going to go get tested, but as you can see, due to the snow, it was kind of hard for me to leave my house. And since I don't really leave my house unless I absolutely have to, I'm fine. And then today, and I think this probably happens to a couple of us from time to time, and I get that. Have you ever left your house and realized that you forgot your mask?
Once or twice I did.
Yeah.
But I usually have one stashed away in the car, or I'll just like notice it in time and just run back in and get it.
I change between like hoodies and jackets and coats on the regular, so it's hard for me to keep one on the ready. But like right over here, you can't see it too well, but next to the red goalie container sitting upside down is a cereal bowl full of masks. So when I walk over to grab my jacket or my coat, I can grab a mask and put it right here and just go, And the funny thing is, I didn't do that today, and I went up the street to go drop off my medication. I get to the Rite Aid, and I'm just like, there are people outside, and I see an employee standing outside. I'm like, oh, I can get a mask from him. Great, No, come to find out, the Rite Aid by me is closed because someone popped positive for COVID.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And all I wanted to do was take my meds. I just wanted to drop it off, and I'd come for it tomorrow. The guy tells me, just come back tomorrow. I'm like, I just wanted to drop it off. Whatever. Thankfully, the MTA actually had masks, so I was able to grab a mask, put it on, And I walk up to the window, and I didn't even say that. I just pointed and just like kind of did like this, like I just need a mask, But other than that, it was a pretty decent day. So that's basically the long and short. Plus, I picked up one of my video games that I will be showing off during Geek Roundtable. So that's all said and done. Wow, And moving on to housekeeping, don't forget to check out me and Under the Pale here on Twitch. Thursdays from 9 to 10:30 or 9 to 11 with Super Grosner Brothers. It's just us just telling geek stories of lore, real life stories of lore, and other cool stuff. And I just want to do a quick shout out during our Geek Roundtable. Shout out to Sia Tabiri for subscribing to us for 6 months. Thank you. You're awesome. And I want to do a quick shout out to Beast1X5. He's awesome bro of mine. Plays DDR. Does a lot of retro game. You need to check out his channel as well. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Now, we'll go ahead into a Geek Roundtable. This is the part of the show where we talk about, non-anime stuff, like kind of more geekery stuff that we've been up to, stuff we've been showing off and stuff like that. So, Ari, what's up with you for Geek Roundtable?
Well, I have a couple things to show off, just two of them real quick.
Awesome.
First is this. My Christmas present from you, Ranma.
Well, you also have a birthday gift coming to me, and what was your Christmas gift will be your birthday gift, so I'm going to have to jump on that soon, so.
Yeah, what happened was, because, the first one, disappeared into the ether somewhere. I don't know what happened to it.
And I'm still fighting the Postal Service to find out what happened, so,
And you sent me an email that says, go to the GameStop near you and pick this up. Because I didn't think, that would be mine, because I was thinking, wait, do I have to drop it off to somebody in this area? What's the deal? So I go in, I show the email on my phone, or okay, here you go. Didn't even ask for anything else. They're just like, and I get to you, I'm like, okay, now what? That's yours, dude. I'm like, oh, okay, neat.
Because I know you really enjoy Monopoly, and I figured, it was on sale. I figured, you know what, add it to your awesome collection.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is, it's from Elderwood Academy. It's a little keychain. You may not be able to see it too well, but it has a Pisces symbol on it.
Oh, I see it.
A, my sign, and B, just one of the custom things I did with it. But what also it is, got it. It's a little container for a complete set of dice. Little dice, but because that's fit on a keychain, but still.
Mm-hmm.
And you could customize it with, different types of wood, different engravings, or, even the inside could either just be open or the beehive, which I went for. And it's held on with the rare earth magnets.
Sounds good.
I got to just find a proper ring to put it on, and they sell bigger boxes and whatnot, so I might get a more personalized customization on that sometime in the future.
Okay, that's good.
I can't wait for my my coworkers' reaction to see me pull out my keys and see this thing and like, what is that, dice? And they just look at me like, what?
And as Beast1x5 says in our chat room, that dice case was sexy. Yes, it is. All right. Mako-chan, what do you have for our Geek Roundtable?
Well, so I'm currently showing off the only Funko Pop of Batsumaru that I can afford.
Wait, how much are the other ones?
The actual Batsumaru Funko Pop is currently, depending on where you get it from, anywhere between $100 and $179.
Jesus.
Thus, I do not have a Batsumaru Funko Pop. I have the collaboration from My Hero Academia, which I'm perfectly okay with because it is, one of the series that I do enjoy. So I will take Batsumaru however I can get Batsumaru. Evil Penguins for the win. The other thing is I have been drinking a crap ton of loose leaf tea. So my tumbler currently has a chocolate black tea, which I have a little bit of sugar and a crap ton of peppermint mocha creamer. It's delicious.
Nice, nice.
I need to get some passion fruit and dragon fruit tea. Make a blend of that. Make a blend of that. Ugh.
Yeah, those are good teas. I like
Maybe
mixing.
Gabby can hook me up.
Yeah, I like mixing my fruit teas with either green tea or black tea. One, because it gives a little bit more depth of flavor, and two, it gives caffeine because the fruit teas usually do not have caffeine in them.
Sounds good. Ichigo, what's up with you? What working on any projects? I would assume that for you, it's like bringing in your new beastly PC.
I'm actually pleasantly happy to tell you that I actually have been working on sewing during our current Gestures of Everything furiously. And I actually did finish a few commissions. One of them was a cosplay of Higurashi no Nakakuro-ni's Reina Higurashi Reina. And I got that to the cosplayer, and it beat the snow to New Jersey, thankfully, and it perfectly fits them.
Now,
so that is my nerdy
That's
thing.
always awesome.
Now, here's the thing. Did it not just beat the snow, but did it go cross country first?
No, it went to New Jersey. So no, it didn't. It didn't go on a fucking quest to fucking Narnia. So. So I'm good. I'm very excited, and it was really nice. And it was something I was sewing on stream, so it was like a nice little like growing thing. And I also finished up I upsized a certain alternative fashion for people of multiple body types and their trials and tribulations they go through trying to find cute stuff that fits. And that person got their item, but hasn't had a chance to try it on yet. So I'm hoping that it goes over well. And you know what? Accomplishing projects throughout what we're going through right now is definitely, to me, a big thing of geekydom. Getting your geeky tasks and your geeky hobbies to work out is definitely a plus.
Yep. And I'll say this much about the geekdom. At the beginning of the pandemic last year, seeing everybody just bond over Animal Crossing, I mean... Again, it's not
shit, man.
Yeah, again, it's not my type of game. I could sit there and play, but I just loved watching everybody just like play together and stuff like that. I just thought that was like one of the best shit ever.
You're the type that wants to get stomped on by big vampy mama.
Actually, no. That does not do a damn thing for me.
Oh, well, the collection of fan art probably has.
Actually, no, because you have to. I'm not a big fan of Resident Evil, so it doesn't do anything. And now that they've explained that the big titty vampy mama is about 10. They said she's 9 feet 6 inches, complete with heels and hat. There are
And
cosplay.
Stand
because
to like
of cor-
290 centimeters.
And
Yeah.
because there is we are after dark.
Mhm.
It is 10 p.m. There is a pegging scene in the new Resident Evil. So if anybody was interested,
Yes.
there you go.
A
I
what?
don't know who it's with. I don't know what it's about. I just know that there are some pegs and some holes, and that's what happens.
Alcina
you know,
Dimitrescu
think about
is her
it.
name. Thank you, Beast.
Yes, Alcina Dimitrescu. She
I-
sounds very scary.
Why is it I could pick? It's because you mentioned I can just see you watching this demo and just like seeing the scene, like just writing notes, like
Oh, I
You
already
don't-
know how the dress is made. Everybody else has been cosplaying it.
No,
there's
I'm
no difference.
talking about the dress. I'm talking about the pegging scene. You taking notes like mm-hmm.
Oh no,
Okay.
I'm an A. I'm A type. I'm Demi/A and gray, and I don't really care about that kind of stuff.
No, I'm just saying, just taking notes in general, just in case it may come in handy in the future. You know.
No, I already know that
Maybe,
stuff.
maybe you're critiquing their technique. Like,
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I can be
They just,
critiquing-
like,
yes,
they
yes.
just
Yes.
put two models
Like my
together
old
in the
college
computer
days,
and not, you know,
we would do
and not, you know,
hentai
mocap
fanfics.
people actually doing it personally, you know?
Lord. And I want to say, there are cosplayers who are learning to walk on stilts to properly pull this cosplay off, okay?
And we
Because
have
of course there
a
is.
conflicting collection of chiming in chat where we have quit being lewd, fool.
And B
Get
says,
the
get...
horny punks.
Yes!
Yeah, I'm sitting here going, wait, I'm listening to this conversation correctly, right?
So I'm usually a white mage, so I usually have my mallet. But unfortunately, because of what we're going through, I do not have my mallet to whack them on the head and keep them in check.
All
And
right,
Mako-chan as well.
anywho, for my geeky roundtableness, I've been watching Lucifer, and I've been laughing my ass off at like half the episodes I've been watching because it's just great. And I'll say this much: I'd work for him. I would. Okay, this is somebody I respect and would work for. Now, other stuff. I actually picked up a game today from Best Buy that I pre-ordered. For those of you who don't know, there's an isekai anime called ReZero, basically known as the anime where Rem is best waifu. They announced a strategy RPG that came out. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of strategy RPGs because I kind of suck at them. Some I have the tolerance for, you know, and others not so much. But I decided to pre-order the collector's edition because let's be real, half the time when we get like a lot of awesome anime video games or Japanese style video games coming to the States, sometimes there's always like a collector's edition that I feel is worth picking up to show our support for. So I went up and got the collector's edition, as you can see here, of ReZero.
Nice.
Thanks.
Sweet.
It comes with a collector's edition pin set. It's a steel book, soundtrack, and an art book all in here. So this is really awesome. So I'm kind of happy I picked it up. The only question is, when will I actually crack it open and start playing the damn game?
I'm going with 3 years from now.
Probably. Just so you know, I still haven't finished Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I purchased Kingdom Hearts 3 and Devil May Cry 5 at the same time, and both are still sealed. I purchased them new, like within a month of their release.
Look,
They're still sealed. I have not cracked them open yet.
there's like only 3 games I'm actually playing through right now. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid Saga Continues, and Borderlands 3. Those are the only 3 games that I have actually been playing.
I completely reset my Animal Crossing island and have not touched it since.
Yeah,
And this was 2 months ago.
I haven't played a lot of games lately. I'm still waiting on my Scott Pilgrim order to come in.
And as Koto Hikari-chan says, Borderlands 3 needs to be streamed, by the way. That can be arranged, and Beast 1X5 is finishing up Judgment for PS4. I've heard nothing but great things about that, and I will eventually get to that. But let's get down to business with the hot take. And this was supposed to be part of our topic for last week, but since we didn't have a show, we're going to talk about it now. And the thing is, I was actually going to wait until this week to talk about it because, you know, given how not everybody was going to be on the show, I wanted everybody's opinions on this. And I know Ichigo probably has several parchments ready on this, and so
Literal parchments, like she's gonna unroll them.
yeah, and it's because you know she's gonna preach, and it's like yes, you know.
Wait, what about what?
About
what?
About this week's hot take.
Okay, maybe. If I had a sound board, like paper unfurling, I would fucking run that thing. But all I have is a goose honking, so that doesn't quite give the same effect.
I mean, you could use the goose.
Bitch.
The goose honking could work depending on what is being said on the show. You know, be like, foul play or something like that. Just out of thing. But here's the thing. An article came out of Japan last week about cosplayers and residuals. Not really residuals, but money. Basically, the big thing was that the Japanese government is consider adjusting the copyright rules on cosplay income. And let me tell you, almost everybody that I know basically lost their proverbial shit about this. First things first. If cosplay is not your main source of income, you have nothing to worry about. If you're just cosplaying for fun and you're just having a good old time with it, this does not affect you.
Not necessarily.
Now, unless you are a Japanese cosplayer where you can make big money, this is where it comes into play. Now, personally, I'm a big person that believes you got to pay what you owe. Pay your fair share. If the Japanese government adjusted the copyright laws where if you are a professional cosplayer, where in Japan that is an actual term. Yeah, Bob Coffey, we are talking about the Inako tax, yeah. If you are a professional cosplayer and they say in the laws, because of what you're doing, you have to pay an extra $100 a year on your taxes, which go to the production companies, or you have to pay this $100 into a fund that goes to these companies. $100 is not going to break you. Now, I also discussed this with some other people, and I said this is basically akin to people who sell stuff in Artist Alley. They have their own designs, but it's something of their design that's connected to an anime or a certain character. These people have to pay taxes as well. Sometimes what happens is when they go into an Artist Alley, they have to submit what they're selling so that there's no copyright infringement between the company or what's being sold in the dealer's hall and all this stuff, you know. In a way, I don't think it's kind of fair because you have to kind of pick and choose what you want, but at the same time, at least you have a good idea of what you're selling. I don't think that I don't see like Japanese companies forcing American companies to, pressure on them about this law. But I can see them sending emails saying, you may have to look more into this, which again, I know people where companies have gone through their stuff and be like, you can't sell this in Artist Alley, you can't sell that, and so forth, I just feel, if you're making money off of it, you got to pay just like everybody else. Now, the big argument is the cosplay. I'm not cosplaying a character. I'm cosplaying me, who is the character. It's my original design. For example, I am cosplaying Ranma Saotome from Ranma One Half. and let's say I do a slight adjustment to the character where I am wearing like military tactile pants and and I'm growing my hair out and then I have glasses. That's my take on Ranma. But the fact of the matter remains, I'm still cosplaying Ranma. So if Viz and Shokugugan says, you've made a lot of money off of these prints, you have to give us X amount of money, I have to give. It's that's how it goes. It doesn't matter how much of a personal spin you put on your cosplays. You are still cosplaying the original character. And if these companies like, well, you gotta throw money towards us, it's only fair. And what's interesting is another argument is that you got people out here who say, it's mine, it's okay, it's mine, it's my character, I don't have to do this. But yet, if it's a smaller company, like if someone created an original series, these same cosplayers will respect the smaller companies, That respect has to go back and forth, It's only fair. And that's my take. Now, Mako, you mentioned something earlier in regards to what I was saying. So what's your take on this?
Well, from what I'm seeing, there are a lot of different sides to this, depending on, I guess, what political party you fall in Japan. So reading an article from one of those politicians, they're basically, he's trying to fight it. But some of the people that are, talking about this law and about what it's going to mean, they are including people that are just wearing the costume. It comes down to representation of the company. And for an example, think about Disney. You go to one of the Disney parks. If you are under a certain age, they don't care if you're wearing a costume. If you are over a certain age, they give a shit ton of craps about you wearing costumes, because they don't want anybody there to, one, think that you're part of them, and two, give them a bad name.
And I totally get that. Misrepresentation.
So there are some of these people, the politicians, that are looking to add that into the law so that even general cosplay of certain characters, if parts of your cosplay are too closely correct to the character, they're looking to charge you for it. The example that they used was the Mario Kart people in Japan.
Right, yeah.
They didn't get banned and sued for copyright exactly. They got it because they used accurate costumes and the name. And not for copyright reasons, but for the representation reason. And that's what they actually got hit with. Which, I mean, still it comes down to basically copyright. But the way it's worded, it's because they used the licensed image for themselves and misrepresented the company. That's what they got hit with.
Yeah, so it's more about misrepresentation than like stealing the work, to make money off of it.
Right. So there are a lot of conventions that do allow for cosplayers to set up in certain areas to have their pictures taken. That would have to stop if, the majority rule on that particular part of the law, because it would be a misrepresentation of the character of the company and all of that. So even just going into a convention and taking pictures could get you in trouble, at least on the convention side of it. Because one, you're paying for being able to be there and doing so, and two, the convention is technically making money off of it. But again, not copyright, it's, about that representation. I think the main thing is how much is going to be included in this law. If they're just going to go after those people that are, selling their pictures, um, trying to promote themselves with that particular character, that I can see, yeah, they're going to go after. But I don't think they should be going after people that are just enjoying themselves.
True.
But it looks like some of them are trying to do so.
They're going to go after everybody just for the sake of it.
I mean, it's really going to depend on, the political, and Japan has a lot of different political parties. Unlike, the United States, which generally has, the main two, and then everybody kind of just falls in, and saying, under the blanket of independent. Japan is very different. They have like seriously 5 or 6 main political parties that will all be fighting over this, and all of them are going to be looking and trying to base their reactions and what they're looking to put into this law on who they're trying to represent. So you're going to have some of them that are going to be trying to represent the companies that are, they're losing money or they're losing their representation for allowing these people to do that. And then you're going to have the more, I guess, liberal of the political parties saying, no, it's just fun. And, yes, if they're making money off of it, that's one thing. But, we can't, we can't ask them to pay money when they're not making money off of it. We can't penalize them for wanting to dress in costume.
Right.
It's really going to be interesting to sit and watch and see all of these people, most of which probably have no idea what the hell they'll be talking about, or the main culture of the whole thing, and see what all of these old men are going to be doing.
It's crazy, I tell you, absolutely crazy. And honestly, I just think that right now, I don't think it's really going to affect American cosplayers currently. Because let's be real, if it does, that's just that's like 1% of cosplayers. That's just 1%. As opposed to where in Japan it's more like 70%.
It's going to depend, because you see now a lot of the licensees and a lot of the companies going after, Etsy and Amazon and people trying to sell certain items that are even just loosely based off of what the license actually is. And that's, where a lot of the cease and desist are coming from on Etsy. I can see people that are, attempting to sell their cosplay, or, just even trying to promote themselves as seamstresses or anything like that with these elaborate costumes, and the companies looking at these and going, no, cease and desist. It's not just going to go away just because we're not in Japan, because it's the item banning and the item lawsuits are becoming more prevalent. So they're just going to add this onto those search engines because that's what they use. So it's not just going to be easily swept under and go, oh, we're in America, we don't have to worry about it. No, we're going to have to worry about it. It's not going to be as quick. It's not going to be as, I guess, as painful, because, Japan does have so much more in the actual, professional cosplay world. But it is going to affect those people that even just remotely have, hey, here's a picture of me. I'm going to donate all of the money that I make on this picture. It's going to affect the voice actors who might have, might be selling pictures of the characters that they voice, or them dressed as a character. That's gonna be affected by all of this, because it's all just rundown. They're just looking to see what they can get money from, and they're gonna add whatever they can to that. and all of it's going to run into it at some point.
Maybe. I mean, I don't really see it really affecting if they somehow add this in with contract negotiations, when companies pick up licenses and stuff like that,
Well, yeah,
it's,
but then
it's sort of like the gray area of fan subs, if you think about it.
Well, I mean that's great. It's always been a gray area, but now Japan is trying to make it not be a gray area. They're trying to make it fully black and white. And when that happens, everybody's screwed. Seattle Beery in chat goes, the Doctor Who inspired Playboy bunnies. You want to talk about that? You're going to have both of those licenses coming after your ass at that point. You'll have Doctor Who and Playboy because that design is actually licensed.
Especially Playboy, because they're really heavy-handed against people stealing their look.
Right. So, I mean, you go to one of these conventions and you have this costume and they get, they see pictures of it and they're going to tell you to pull them down because it's a misrepresentation of their brand.
Yep, and I have a lot to say about this.
How about a quick summary?
Holding my tongue, but I will try and make it brief.
Go for it.
But yes. So, as Ranma said, it may not affect us in the West. However, unfortunately, IP is something that is enforced worldwide. We're going to be talking about this show later in the show. However, Otakon is a prominently featured character in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, and having volunteered, worked with, and staffed and attended Otakon as an event in the last decade, I have come into contact with a lot of the ways that they must enforce their IP, their copyright, their trademarks, etc. I have attended and seen a lot of the inner workings of the corporation as a whole, and seen how much they do have to work to enforce things like having a lawyer on hand for litigation, pretty much 24/7, 365. Now, when it comes to those kind of things, unfortunately, IP is one of those issues that has to be enforced or else they lose it. And this isn't just the smaller cosplayers just doing it and they're doing it, that maybe there's this thing here and this thing there, whatever. It's basically a situation where it's going to kill a lot of trust in it. It already has killed a lot of trust in the fandom and cosplay communities in general, and it's worldwide. So Otakon had an issue where there was a community in Brazil that had started up a convention, and they were calling it Otakon. And unfortunately, they had to enforce their IP, so their lawyer had to go out and chase this group down worldwide. So when you say it's not going to be an issue here in the States just because it's an issue in Japan, even though there's 70% of professional cosplayers in Japan, I feel like you're negating to include people that are prop makers, people that are replicators, people that are making fan productions. So things that are like fan run or fan created or any of those kind of creative things. Even the smallest project has a chance to get into what their certification process is. And actually, that was a piece that was written in the China Morning Post recently. It was an article, and it's cited as saying, the government is not planning to revise the copyright law as it fears stricter regulations would drive people away from cosplay, and instead it plans to share specific examples of situations in which cosplayers may be asked to pay for copyright to enhance awareness. Now, this is including the information where the government has already heard from creators as well as cosplayers, including Inako, which Bob Coffey earlier talked about, the Inako tax, who's been appointed as the government's Cool Japan ambassador on the issue. Now, when you're talking about this, I have basically 5 points. 5 points I'll touch about, okay? So I'll try to make it quick because I know you guys who are coming in for the stream, y'all want to hear about toilets being stolen out of bathrooms in Japan. However, this is just as important, if not more so, because it comes down to the idea of fandom as a culture as we know it and how we celebrate it through costuming, through fan creation, and that's not just people dressing up fancy costumes or creating their own versions of characters that we grow and know and love. If it becomes part of an IP, not only will bigger cosplayers get hit with DMCAs or cease and desist, depending on the media, they'll have to go through huge application processes, and smaller cosplayers will have to as well, unless companies create gray areas. But if it's copyright or trademarked, then you'll have to go through a process to be officially recognized. And there are already representations of these kind of issues if you go through other things. Now, I'm not going to touch on those here. One of them is like Twitch for DMCAs and all that other fun stuff. You can look that up yourself. It creates an environment where people end up representing a company when it's not really what cosplay is to do at all. And that's what Mako was talking about earlier, where you end up creating a situation where cosplayers unofficially represent your company as a whole, even if they are not in the understanding that they are contractually obligated to do so. So when it comes to that, it's how you act and carry yourself in the costume will then reflect on the company as a whole, even if you're not employed. Technically, at that point, you become a contractor, and you have a certain tie to that company through a contract and obligation, even if it's not like confirmed officially. As it's addressed in our article at animejamsession.com, who regulates it? Who's the regulating body? How will the certification processes go? Not only due to the fact that we are in a plague right now, and so staffing shortages to handle it, on top of timelines. Many PR groups can be unreliable in getting back to groups or persons they don't think are worth their time. It's very, very valid in our culture in America, as well as in cultures and PR companies for bigger companies, you know. So how is a young fan or a new fan in general, or a general cosplayer that just wants to have fun, supposed to go and get any certification if they want a costume?
I can't help but feel like that the lawmakers have more important things to worry about than this.
On top of that, is there a cost or an exorbitant fee associated with that? How hard will that play into cosplay's already huge social and financial disparity? Also, discrimination. Hi, we love Japan's media and stuff like that, so sometimes we forget that they have their own issues with discrimination and that kind of thing tied into their culture. What if the certification process group does something that regulates it against a certain group without meaning to, for screen accuracy reasons? You guys can't see me in chat saying this, but like I'm saying it with wiggling my fingers sarcastically. Will those with accessibility needs, or even folks who cannot afford to have the latest and greatest technology skills and know how to create television specific or replicated costumes, be discriminated against just because the certification team deems them unworthy? So cosplayers to me are artists anyway. And even a costume that is of the same character, if me, Mako, Ranma, and Ari all made the same magical person character, and it was the same costume, is it going to turn out the same way? No.
What's that about body types?
And not only that, but materials, skill set, time. Maybe you're going to purchase it. Maybe I'm going to make mine. Maybe someone will thrift theirs. I think that the field in general is evolving. And I know it might be better to try and do licensing deals with folks that make over a certain amount rather than trying to copyright or basically outlaw fandom from doing something. However, we are a smart, creative, and resourceful community and culture. That's how we got this far. And it's not just a bunch of us in our closet-sized apartments, zooped up garage workspaces, or modeling our friend or professional maker's best works anymore. They only started considering this because of how big the field has become. And I feel like they are trying to deal with the growing pains that could be handled more delicately with tweezers of logic than with a big commercialization capitalist hammer. But that's just my 2 cents, and I hope that that was brief enough for you guys.
That was more like a $20 bill. You know, you always get your money's worth with Ichigo. I mean, seriously, you always get your money's worth, because no matter what you say, she will add on to it, and she will point things out that brings more to the table, and it makes you go, I never thought of it that way. You make people think. That's a good thing.
As an addition to this, you know, we keep saying Japan, Japan, Japan. If this goes through, this isn't just going to be a Japan thing. People all over the world are going to look at this and go, hey, maybe we should be changing our copyright laws to include this. So this going through has the potential to impact the entire world's copyright laws. So, you can say, well, I just won't cosplay from anything from Japan. Well, okay, well, Japan is very tied into France's, animation community. France loves Japan. Their companies love Japan. They have created based off of Japanese series. So if that's the case, what's to stop France from going, hey, I like that. I like that idea. And then there goes, Ladybug. There goes Winx. There goes, a whole crap ton of things that you wouldn't normally think are French. And then you go, oh, well, if France is doing it, French Canadian might do it. And that is a whole bunch of other ones. And then if, everybody else is doing it, everybody else is going to go, hey, this is a good idea. We can get more money from these people that still want to cosplay.
Yeah.
It's not going to be this quick thing that, the entire world goes, oh, crap. It's gonna be slow. It's gonna be steady. And if that's the case, in 10 years, cosplay could be that thing that, oh, yeah, I had fun with it, but now you can't do anything.
Yeah, and not only will it... oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, up until the point, if they change the copyright laws where, if this is your career, this is your job, yes, you should pay, money, but you shouldn't be paying if you're doing this for the fun of it, as a hobby. That's my honest opinion how it should be. But there's always going to be that one person where if they're paying out of pocket because they do this profession, they're going to be like, if we got to pay, you got to pay too. But I'm not making any money off of it. Whole thing.
And that's one thing I want to... Oh, go ahead.
I probably think that, all these freaking nerds have so much money to spend on costumes and go to all these convention stuff. What's another $100
exactly
for a license?
That's exactly what it is, Ari. It's the fact that they are finally recognizing that we are a financial space that they want to be part of. And they haven't been part of it for so long.
That's I think that's the term you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they want to figure out a way to get as much money as possible as quickly as possible because they realize that they are
Nickel
behind.
and diming. It worked for video games. It worked for us.
Yeah, and the downside of that, and what I wanted to bring up with Mako and Ron was chiming in about how it will become worldly, is it's already worldly. Like, the wheels have started turning. And when it comes to it, it's not just going to affect cosplay. It's going to affect those people that want to make Assassin's Creed pizza delivery commercials. It's going to affect the people that want to dress up for their streams on Twitch. It's going to affect our podcast.
What I see happening on the convention level. Badges go up an additional $5. The cosplay tax. I see that shit happening.
Oh, it already is. There's already cosplaying and photography badges for people who just want to ghost and go.
No. Oh, but that money stays with the con. But I'm talking about this cosplay tax goes to these other companies for their cut. Now, it goes back to what Sia Tiberi's...
Yeah, and then you start getting people bitching, well, I'm not even cosplaying, so why should I have to pay more for my ticket?
Yeah. And to go back to what Sia Tiberi was saying earlier about a universal license like ASCAP, I would be all for that. If there's so many people paying, maybe the fees won't be as expensive, but...
I see also in our chat, Kid-kun brought up actually a really great point. So even in a commercial sense, this is ludicrous. People making their own costumes and etc. and building a brand around their cosplays put in enough work that fair use will cover it in the U.S. at least. Now, that is a very good point. Cosplayers usually aren't being funded by these companies, aren't being supplied to create these costumes by their companies. And this was another point I did want to bring up, is that I pay for the Warbler, I pay for the wig, I am paying for all these things. The only thing that the company is providing is basically the design. And even at that point, there are some designs where I make fun because they do not have seams. They do not know how to draw clothing. So it's one of those things where at that point, where does fair use begin and I don't know, inspiration from the IP end? And because the company's not paying for these costumes to be created, how much will that change if they start to charge things? I mean, you're paying certainly for a fee for, you know, selling your own prints or whatever, but at the same time, how much is that going to bleed into the idea of sponsorships, and how much is that going to bleed into other sources of things like that, and how is fair use going to play into it? So that's definitely things that we'll need to see and how that develops in the future. But yeah, gets you thinking, doesn't it?
Yes. And one last thing I want to drop in here before we go into our next story. I'm suddenly reminded of the anime Tiger and Bunny. Soon you're going to see cosplay sponsored by major companies at conventions. That's exactly what's going to happen.
No, that's legitimately. You're going to have Playboy bunnies with their tights with the label of whatever brand it is. Maybe Playboy on the leg. You're going to see Monster Energy on the sleeve of some, Captain 76 or whatever. I know.
Soldier 76.
Soldier 76.
Either way, God, I hope not.
And you're gonna start seeing that.
I swear, if I see someone cosplaying Ranma and it says on the sleeve, sponsored by Tiger Schulman's, I'm going to throw him head first out the goddamn window.
Maybe he'll land in the water, and then he'll be female Ranma, and that'll be great.
Tiger Schulman's karate. That's like the opposite of the kung fu that Rama Sayotome does.
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
The future of cosplay is sponsorships.
Oh God! Soon cosplays are gonna look like KHL hockey uniforms, or like 90% of the uniform is just ad space. No, or worse, soccer kits.
Slam.
I'm starting a NASCAR.
Slam dunk cosplay sponsored by the NBA.
What's funny is what's going through my head right now is the fact that there are so many fashion labels, so many, licensed names and crap like that people are already wearing on their clothing and wearing because the name is amazing, that kind of putting it on cosplay is the next logical step.
Oh, God.
Supreme My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I mean, you've got certain clothing that right off the bat exactly what it is, just based on either the color of it, the certain labeling of it. I can really see that the next step would be for, these professional companies to be the licensees of cosplay. And then all of a sudden you're going to have, some cosplayer in a really elaborate costume and have Gucci on their ass.
Oh, God.
Because truthfully, that's what's going on in fashion right now. Everybody wants to show that name off. So I can sincerely see somebody picking up these licenses and going, yeah, we'll just stick our names on it. It'll work.
Anywho, moving right along. Ari, can you tell us about these anime titles that are eligible for an Academy Award nomination?
Sure, just let me bring it up. Okay, here we go. For this year's Academy Awards, 27 animated films are battling out for the usual 5 nomination slots for Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, up from the 13 that were eligible just a few days ago. The updated list now includes Earwig and a Witch, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba the movie, Mugen Train, but also Pixar's Soul, a top contender for the award. The total list of anime films is Demon Slayer, Earwig, Lupin III, The First, Ongaku, Our Sound, Ride Your Wave, and A Whisker Away. Due to COVID-19 eligibility rules for the Academy Awards have been changed, with films are uploaded to Academy's screening room within 60 days of release, whether it's theatrical or digital, are eligible for nomination. It doesn't mention which side of the release window, meaning the films are set to be released in late February are also eligible to be nominated. Well, I would like Lupin the Third to win. That would be my pick, but Soul was really good. I can't say anything bad about that. Well, just the fact that, they have the best animated film category because in 1994 they saw Beauty and the Beast get nominated for the Best Picture. We're like, oh, hell no, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, a couple of things before we go into the next topic.
I'm not salty about that. What do you ask?
Joe Videa mentions in the chat, Sailor Moon cosplayers will never be happy until their hooker boots have ruby red soles, which will say on the side, sponsored by Hot Topic. Meanwhile, the Seifuku itself says sponsored by Children's Wear Place. Thank you and good night. But Ichigo also posted an article.
I'll punish you in Gucci heels.
At that point, I would just walk the fuck away. But Ichigo points out $190 tights. And I think this is something we might have mentioned or something along those lines in a prior episode.
An old story we talked about.
Yeah, I thought so. But to touch back on what Ichigo said, our next topic is Otakon needs your money. A lot of cons need your money. But the long and the short is Otakon is having a fundraiser, so you need to buy their merch, or else there will not be another Otakon convention. Meaning, once COVID's said and done, and we're able to have conventions again, there will no longer be an Otakon. Now, you're probably thinking, how is it that Otakon needs money? Now, understand. There was no 2020 con. They're rolling membership badges over to 2021. But now it looks like it'll be 2022, if that. A lot of people have rolled their badges over. A lot of people want refunds. The same goes for people who work in Artist Alley and Dealer's Room. Their fees have been rolled over to the next con. A lot of those vendors have said, no, I want my money back. And don't forget, Otakon has a lot of equipment that they use to put on a great show for you every year. That's a monthly fee that they have to pay, and it's not cheap. And believe it or not, that is something a lot of anime cons and comic cons are dealing with right now. It can be considered one of the reasons why some conventions are still trying to have a physical event, even though it's advisable not to, is to keep money in the coffers to keep things going, because it's con money that keeps everything afloat. It's not money coming out of their pockets per se. So if you want to help out, you can head over to otakon.com, I believe. Let me pull this up real quick, because I know there's like a specific link, but actually if you just go to store.otakon.com, and I believe, store.otakon.com/otacorp-donation- yada yada. I will post a link in the chat, so you might want to check that out. And this goes back into something I was talking to another cosplay friend of mine. To be perfectly honest, I'm not surprised by this at all, none whatsoever, because for a while we were hitting a convention bubble. It used to be where it was one con a month, and con chairs would actually work with each other to have their shows so that con goers can hit all these shows and have a great time. Now it's like one con is one weekend in this state, another con is same weekend, a state, they may be like 2 hours away, and then you got another con happening the following weekend 2 states away. It's like everybody and their moms is having a con. Yes. Conventions are anywhere from a local library to convention centers, back and forth. It's like a massive bubble. You got people who are running cons because they've been an attendee for 3 years, staffed for 2 years, and think that they can do it. They can do it on their no. And this is how I feel. If Otakon goes under, it's not going to bother me. And it's not because I have an issue with Otakon. I love Otakon. I think Otakon is a great convention.
Definitely.
But if they go under, and which starts all these other conventions going under, okay, that's fine. Because what's going to happen is new conventions are going to rise up from these ashes. If all these cons end up going under, but we're getting newer conventions out of it and not as many, I would be perfectly okay with that. I don't think it's fair to have someone choose between 3 different conventions within an hour of each other that one weekend because, you know, con chair A has beef with con chair B and con chair C hates A and B, and be like, you know, we're going to have our revenge con to screw you guys, you know?
And it's not even that though, too.
Yeah.
It's that a lot of shows were scared to start up and around in the local area, within like the tri-state area, within that same time zone, because they knew that most of the target market, most of that fan base was going to be going to the bigger show.
Yep.
So even if these smaller shows had wanted to start up, had gotten the gumption, found the volunteers and things like that, they wouldn't have had any fight. They wouldn't have had any dog in this fight because they basically wouldn't have been able to stand up to the monolith that is Otakon. And this isn't even within like the week of, the day of. Conventions have started to carve out time. And I've mentioned this before to you guys, where conventions are businesses. They can act like they care about you, but they really don't. Their business is you're a number in their turnstile. Yeah. That's how they treat you. Even their volunteers, even stuff like that. You are a turnstile. You are money.
Yeah. And I also want to throw in there, this is also, if you think about another reason why when you will go to a con and you grab the con book and it says at the end, you know, they have the next 3 years dates listed. And this is what Ichigo meant by carving it out. They want to make sure you come back to their show next amount of years in a row, and then you got somebody else who's running a con that, well, we can't do the weekend before or the weekend after. We got to skip the next month, where they have to be like, well, what about these conventions, you know?
And yeah, and that's something too, is that like monetarily, the budget for Otakon, if you are part of the membership, because they are a 501c3, is public knowledge. And it is, I think, like the last time I remember looking at their budget for one of the deposits, it was like $250,000 just to rent the convention space. And that was just for one of the deposits, which I think they do like, it's either 2 deposits a year or like that was like half a deposit. I can't remember exactly what the budget was. But that's money that is just gone. No matter what. The only reason that they have to stop paying is when things like the conventions that are being made into a field hospital, so therefore they do not have use of this space. They still had to spend the initial $250,000 to put in as a deposit, and that's not really refundable. Like they can try to rework their contracts to a certain point, but that $250,000 is gone. It's poof. It's that no more money there. So when they did roll over people's things, and I think you can, on the plus side, if you are looking for a refund, I think they've started to open up the idea that you can get a refund if you're looking for it because of the situation where they don't think that they're going to have a show this year. You can look into that. But it's one of those cases where I've been talking with Ranma and Ari and Mako about this a lot, where the bubble, like we've talked about on the show before, it has been needing to pop for a while. It's been like a blister, a pustule, all those lovely visuals for you guys in the chat that has needed to be popped for a very, very long time. Yes. And so it has come to that point where it has just grown faster than it could have. And now that we're in a situation where the culture is not centered around those types of gatherings yet. I hope it is again. I hope it's safe again. I hope we can go and see each other again and make new friends and make new costumes and all that fun stuff. But at the same time, like, our society has changed, and I feel like our geeky landscape is going to change very heavily with it.
Yep. Because let's be real, virtual conventions are starting to get a little bit long in the tooth. They don't need to be 8 hours for 3 days, 3 days or 2 days. No.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving right along to our next topic. God damn it, I reset everything by accident. Hold on. There we go. Toei was really out of pocket on this. And
yikes.
I didn't put the full thing because of space, but Ichigo, give us a quick summary of this.
I'll give you a rundown. So, many of you, we talk about Japan, and we love Japan and all the culture and stuff, but unfortunately, they, like America, has much of a problem with LGBTQIA communities and cultures. And unfortunately, Toei and other anime companies are not above having situations where they negatively interact with these cultures as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Toei Animation refused labor negotiations with an LGBTQIA union member that they have over there. The union member, who identified as X-gender, was accused of using a false name in paperwork. The Yahoo News reported last Wednesday that Toei Animation attempted to refuse labor negotiations with a union representing a former unit, director A-san, who claims to have been unfairly stripped of work. In the paperwork, Toei accuses the union member B-san, who was handling the negotiations, of using a false name. B-san, who identifies as X-gender, neither male nor female, uses an alias that better reflects their gender identity. Toei's letter to the Precariat Union, which is handling the case, explicitly dead names B-san, which is a huge no-no, and accuses them of majorly damaging their relationship of trust between Toei Animation and the labor union. B-san insisted that their alias should have no connection to the case at hand in the first place. There are many married people who work under an alias, and the name that they use for collective bargaining has nothing to do with the name on their family registry. They told Yahoo News that collective bargaining is an obligation established by the labor union and not a matter of a trust relationship, and so forth. I think that they refused to even give me a seat at the discussion because they have no desire to resolve the dispute. They also emphasized their discomfort at being referred to by their dead name. For me, just looking at my family registry name is painful. To be on the receiving end of such a discriminating act by the company made me feel disappointment, sadness, and pain. The Precariat Union made contact with Toei 3 times for collective bargaining, and the first 3 interactions were performed through online conferencing due to COVID-19. For the 4th meeting, they did not receive an online conferencing link, and after phoning the studio beforehand, B-san went to the building to meet with the lawyer and the people handling the case directly. When they arrived, the lawyer allegedly spoke to them aggressively and used a security guard to chase them out.
Oh, that's no
after
good.
this, the company continued to correspond with them in text for some time without coming to an agreement before eventually sending a rejection letter and dead naming B-san again. A-san, the other party who claims to have been subjected to power harassment in their 7 years of working at the company, also remarked in dismay that the company's attitude was clearly unfair and cruel, and they can't believe they would go this far. I didn't think they would do such a thing. A-san claimed to have been dismissed as a unit director after an altercation with an animation director, and Toei had a culture of overwork. Hi, not a surprise, Japan. And they've been told by senior staffers to use animation directors like worker bees.
Good grief.
Although A-san managed to reach a compromise, they were told that they would be dropped, and they were also continuously basically shuffled out to feel pressured to quit. A-san attempted to consult the animation labor union, but because the ties they felt to the union, between the union and the company, were too strong, it basically put them in a dead end. Rumors spread about A-san in the studio, and he was told by a third party they'd received an email telling that A-san should never be unit director ever again. And A-san never expected it to snowball. Basically, Toei is still they are still working at Toei, but without any friends to openly support them on the inside, and basically have lost all hope in the studio about them being supportive or a good place to work. So Toei Animation, I guess they also use the idea of what Toei Animation's logo is to demonstrate how the company actually demonstrates its feelings about its workers. So I'm going to read that to you guys. Toei Animation uses the Puss in Boots protagonist Perro as its logo. It's a story in which Perro ignores his friends in order to help out the mice who are in lower positions, and by doing so, he gets chased out by his friends. In my situation, the boot is on the other foot. Everyone is wrapped up in the company politics and things that have existed for a long time, so all they do is chase out people who are in the lower position. I think that this is linked to the company's discriminatory attitude towards sexual minorities, or gendered minorities in this point, and how they called B-san by their dead name. B-san also expressed their appointment and kind of pointed out that Toei is known for a lot of its progressive and uplifting anime, but that does not reflect in the actual company culture. So yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I'll
That's what
say
I'm dealing with the Fallout, Toei.
I'll say this much. I just digitally signed the petition. They're like about a little bit under 300.
Let me link the petition as well.
Yeah, they're a little bit under
So,
300 away, you know. So
they have a petition going on right now. The Precariat Union, who's handling this this issue, has started a change.org petition. And if you have Google Chrome, it translates it for you. It is in Japanese. But there it is. There it is for. It's not a suspicious link, I promise you.
Here is a tiny. I'm going to put a tiny URL to the petition. See, this is one of the reasons why I have a tiny URL maker in my browser. Yeah. So
they're aiming to receive 1,500 signatures, and it's less than 100 from that goal. So if you guys want to support the labor union handling it, you can do so.
I will say,
so big.
You know, I will say this Toei's actions is probably, I think, is more along the lines of the culture of Japan per se. Because just remember, look how long it took them to realize that child porn is not a good thing. Case in point, Rurouni Kenshin mangaka. You can Google that and you can read all of that, and you will see so many people screaming about that and forgetting that the laws of America do not apply to Japan. So. Again, and then when they saw the end result of how he just got a fee and told to go about his day, people were still enraged by that. Again, Japan is still coming around and understanding that it's a bad thing, and they need to be stricter penalties. Give them some time, they will catch up. Now, Mako-chan, we're back in your wheelbarrow.
Oh, it's my turn again.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let me get that open because I'm trying to sign this, petition and everything.
Yeah, I was already logged in, so I was like, here you go.
Okie dokie. Alrighty. Okay, so, I get to go twice.
No. We're saving that one. I put that there in case we had time.
We're saving what one?
The one after that article.
Oh, okay, because it's still there for me. I didn't realize that.
I was saving that in case we had time.
Well, it is just, music. It's not like it needs to be a whole big thing. But anyway, they have finally announced the dates for the final Fruits Basket season. The reboot final season is set to air in April. It is, if everything goes the way it has been going, it will be simulcast. So you will have the English dub of it, usually within a week. Most of the time, I know they do try to get it in within the first couple of days. Mm-hmm. But this is going to be the final season. That means I can actually start watching it soon because I waited until everything was done before getting into it because I knew I'd be pissed if I couldn't just watch the whole thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so for those that care about the series, you know what Fruits Basket is. If you don't, then Fruits Basket is an anime based, or I should say it's a manga, loosely based off of the Chinese zodiac. You have characters that are possessed by the spirits of the Chinese zodiac, and they are possessed in such a way that the opposite gender, when they are hugged, they actually turn into their animal. So the whole premise of this series is that one of the characters ends up stumbling upon the secret of this family that is possessed by the Chinese zodiac, and she, basically helps them to come to understanding of what is going on and, basically helps to break the curse. Yay, Fruits Basket.
The fact that they were able to compress 3 seasons, it took basically 8 years of manga compressed into 3 years of anime. More or less.
Well, it's not like the manga is very long. A lot of it is I don't want to say filler, but a lot of it is background character stuff and extended storylines, which, good for reading, but not necessarily good for animation.
Yes, like case in point, Tenjo Tenge, where half of the season was nothing but background filler. I'm just like, really? You're spending 18 episodes on them in junior high, and the actual anime itself is 8 episodes? Ugh.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to see all the lead up to certain parts of this. But it is longer than the first go through of the series, which made it to, one of the, I guess, weirdest cutoff points that they could have chosen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to be able to start watching it finally.
Cool. Now, the last thing, I guess we could throw this in here real quick. I just wanted to show the video of basically Neko version of Neon Genesis Evangelion. I just wanted to show that real quick. I'll drop this in real quick, and then we'll go into Meanwhile in Japan. Basically, there is a game called the Battle Cats, and they're doing a crossover with Neon Genesis Evangelion. And they redid the opening theme, and it's basically called Nyanko-Jellion. And they renamed the song to Nyanko's Thesis. Nyanko Thesis. I'm going to see if I can get this to play. Because again, I switched to another I switched from Streamlabs to OBS Studio, where I don't really have that much of controls on browser controls. Let's see, copy video at current time. Let's see if I can get this to work. I just hope it's not too loud. Here we go. Oh shit, y'all can't even hear this. I'm sorry.
I can hear it.
Really?
I
Yeah.
hear it.
No, because it's coming through my normal speakers. That's why.
Nya, nya, nya. Nya, 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 nya. Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay.
I
very
know this
low,
song,
though.
so it just makes me laugh.
Damn it.
Gives new meaning to Cat Mom.
Oh, God. OBS Studio needs better browser controls for stuff like that. Or I'll have to test it with like a window grab or something. Anywho. Now we're at the part of the show that you all stuck around for anyway. Meanwhile in Japan. Alright. Let's see what we got here.
I think I'm going to take the last one.
Okay. I'm going to take the third one. Ari?
All right, Ari, which one do you want?
Can't hear you. He's taking the second one.
Okay. I get the poop one. Yay.
How turtable.
Can we not?
Sorry.
No, just that's not funny. Anywho,
Can you
yeah.
hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why it didn't just say like it says mic on or mic off when it's on or off, but that didn't happen for some reason.
Well, we got it fixed.
Okay, so yeah, that was loud.
Sorry.
Anyway, so a customer at a convenience store ended up finding two startling things inside of a certain shop's restroom: a pair of handcuffs and a loaded gun. The customer informed the manager, who in turn informed the police, who were able to trace the handgun and restraints to none other than one of their own officers. Earlier that morning, an Osaka prefectural police sergeant who was assigned to a security detail in the area had also been into the convenience store in order to go to the bathroom, and poop. So how do we know this? The police officer felt it was, in his need to remove his belt entirely and hang it on the hook on the inside of the bathroom door. Attached to his belt, obviously, were the holster pistol and cuffs. Yeah, so I'm so confused. But anyway, in the total, about 30 minutes passed between when the officer left the bathroom and when they were recovered. And they go into saying that it's a testament of how safe Japan is, that one, not only did the people who found them promptly contact the proper authorities, but the officer himself hadn't even noticed that they were missing. The fact that he had no idea that he was missing his belt, though, for 30 minutes. And why would you need to take your belt off entirely? I mean, I get it, you want to be comfortable, but the belt goes around the pants. It's not like you're, holding the pants up.
It's not like you're doing a cool JRPG thing where you just have a second belt just loosely hanging around your hips.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Although these are Japanese cops, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, that might be. But it said that it's actually not as rare as you think. There are actually a couple of different times that police officers have left their guns and such items in various bathrooms, just because they, I guess, don't need them.
Haven't we discussed a couple of articles like that?
Yeah, I know we've discussed a couple of times that police officers have, just left their crap around, and not meaning crap, but meaning their items on their body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like who hasn't, used the bathroom and just left things on the hook as you're leaving the stall?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've accidentally left certain items in the bathroom, but I've never had to completely remove my belt in order to go to the bathroom.
I would assume maybe the pants, maybe it was way too tight on him and he just needed breathing room, which I get. But even at that point, there's no point to taking the whole belt off.
Why do you need breathing room if the pants are supposed to be around your ankles when you're going to the bathroom anyway? I'm sorry, but as a female, I have to sit through all of it. So why all of a sudden do people act stupid when they have to change their routine to, do something that they don't normally have to do? You do not have to take your belt off completely just to, take a dump in the toilet. If the belt is a problem, then you have more problems than just, issues with the bathroom. Why do you take your belt off?
F in the chat for any cosplayers and or professionals that have to wear a full bodysuit that only zips in the back, so you have to undress completely in order to do anything.
Oh no. See,
Yeah, completely assed out naked on the
I
toilet.
completely I completely understand that.
Yep,
When you
yep.
are wearing certain items of clothing, you have to disrobe completely.
I
to be able to go to the
I
bathroom.
get that. Yeah.
This is why I don't actually wear those onesies to bed. Because, being all warm and comfortable and then waking up in the middle of the night and having to completely disrobe just to go to the bathroom, not a fun thing.
Well, unless you get the
But this
onesies
is
with
a
the back
belt.
flap.
This is a belt that should be in your pants. And like my thing is that because it's a belt, these things are, in pockets. So the belt is through the pant loops and these pockets are stuck on the belt loops. So how do you get the belt off? That means that you're not wearing the belt correctly if you're able to take the belt off and still have all of these things attached to your belt.
I guess we'll
Just
have to,
having more questions than answers.
I guess we'll have to ask this guy to find out. God. All right, moving right along.
Oh boy. The Tenga company wants to create a masturbatory aid for people to use in outer space.
Well, that is the next logical, leap.
Okay. Already this article's sounding weird. Like a lot of little boys, Koichi Matsumoto had a deep interest in space. He didn't grow up to be an astronaut or astronomer, though. Instead, he grew up to be the president of Tenga, Japan's leading maker of male masturbation aids, and also its strange fitness goods. But even as the customers reach for their dongs, he's still reaching for the stars, and he's just announced the Tenga Rocket Project, a joint venture between Tenga and Interstellar Technologies, which aims to launch a Tenga rocket into space. The proposed rocket would fly to an altitude of about 62 miles or 100 kilometers before drifting back down into the ocean. There's more to the project than obvious phallic imagery and similarities of a shaft rising and falling with a moist splash. The rocket will contain messages of the hopes and dreams of 1,000 people placed inside Tenga-shaped pods for the round trip to space and back, as well as the Tenga robot figure in a spacesuit. The most important cargo isn't some fun marketing gimmick, but a piece of research equipment that Tenga hopes to be the key to developing its next generation self-pleasure tool, the Space Tenga. Okay, oh, would you look at that? It actually has little fins on it like a rocket. Oh boy. And if all goes well, the Tenga rocket will launch from from the island of Hokkaido sometime within the coming summer. I'll get the obvious one out of the way. In space, no one can hear you come.
Well, that's only one up what I was thinking.
What? I think the original line still works.
Well, if you can't hear your partner scream, I don't think you're doing it right.
But in space, you can't hear it.
Heyo. Well,
So it just means you have to try harder.
I guess so.
all right. This is what I
They're
came up.
not worried about, collecting the expelled product. You do know how liquid behaves in space, right? And how even a little cat, and how even a little flaked off graphite from a pencil can slip into the insides of a machinery and short something out and send the whole thing make the whole thing go haywire.
Yep, and back then Damien agreed with you. But how about this? This is what I was thinking. Fapping, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Tenga Prize. That's all I got. Anywho,
So it'd be to boldly come and not to boldly go.
depending on your preference.
Be a hell of a way to go, coming and going at the same time.
I think we need to move.
Do we all not understand that this is why they keep telling us to bring a towel with us?
Well, yeah.
Come on.
Maybe they're just having trouble keeping millionaire space dicks out of space holes.
Ooh. Gives new meaning to Mile High Club, I suppose.
What was that line that Jay said? Finding alien races and fucking them? That's
It would be
what
the
space
Lightyear High
exploration
Club.
for, right?
Yeah, but Kirk already beat him to that.
Well, that was the point.
True. All right. So, our next story is about a new bar in Japan for people who want to drink alone. And, you know, I totally get that. I mean, like, you have Ichiran Ramen where you have your own personal booth where you sit there, they slide the food out, you eat, you pay, and you leave. I like being social, but there are times I just want to go into a bar, have a beer, not be bothered, and go about my way. For me, that's a good time after having a rough day. But the thing is, in Japan, a lot of pubs are set up for large groups. Whether it's for groups of friends or co-workers, you're going to find more tables than counter seats for the long and short. Same with semi-private rooms. Now, there is a pub called the Juden Highball. It's going to open up in the city of Hakodate in the Hokkaido Prefecture. They do things differently. They have one-person booths, and I think this is awesome. By making making every seat a one-person booth, Juden Highball allows for a measure of social distancing while you enjoy a cold one as per Japanese drinking culture, and a few side dishes to go with it. Now, the way it's laid out, it's going to make it a little bit harder for you to have a server bring you your food and drinks. Each seat has a self-ordering tablet. You have power outlets and free Wi-Fi. So you can order your food, catch up on work, charge your phone. I like that. Granted, you're not supposed to bring your work with you in a way, but think about it. You go into a booth, you break out your laptop, charge it, plug in your phone, grab the tablet, punch in your order. There you are. You catch you up on an email while having some karaage and a nice pint of Asahi. I mean, I can get with that.
To me though, the idea has already kind of been done, and it's actually a story that we talked about a few months back. I'll post the article here.
All right, go for it.
But remember that manga library that had the all-you-can-drink beer ticket thing?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very similar idea, but they actually give you activities to do.
Yeah. Where in this case, you're just a salary man that wants something to eat, a beer, charge your phone, and just go about your day. That's basically is it. And this place, Juden Highball, opens on February 5th. It takes its name from Juden, the Japanese word for recharge, symbolizing the pub's hope that it can serve as an oasis for people who are feeling emotionally drained from the severe lifestyle changes that have been brought on during the pandemic. Even when things eventually do get back to normal, it sounds like it could be the place for introverts who could use a beer, cocktail, or a glass of sake, in a way like how there is a cafe in Tokyo for negative-minded people.
Come in and be like, I'm trading in my tea for sake, and leave the bottle.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ichigo.
Well, I feel like if the house owner maybe had the pub, maybe they wouldn't have resorted to this particular situation. Now, I know this year and last year have been kind of overwhelming for all of us, but I don't think any of us on the podcast would have turned to a salt and pepper.
No.
The guest house owner was arrested for slashing guests who sprinkled too much pepper on his own food. I remember reading somewhere that in France, it's considered rude to put ketchup on food that's been prepared by someone else at a nice restaurant or home. The logic being that since the other person put a lot of effort into creating a certain taste, it would be rude to drown it out with tomatoes and vinegar. It kind of makes sense. And even though Japan doesn't have such a custom, when served intimately cooked meals, it's probably best practice to leave it as the server intended out of respect alone. It's just a polite gesture, however, and nothing will probably happen here if you do choose to liven things up with some custom amounts of sauce or spices. Probably. However, a guest house in the Ujiurara area of Ise City, Mie Prefecture, was the scene of an assault case between the owner, 46-year-old Genryu Aragaki, and 52-year-old visitor. According to police, in October of last year, the victim came to the guest house, nestled at the front of the mountains near the famous Ise Grand Shrine, and had dinner. When the food was served, the victim put some black pepper on it. However, the amount of pepper upset Aragaki greatly. He punched the guest in the head and then brandished a chef's knife at him, shouting such threats as, "I'll kill you." In the midst of the flurry of threats, punches, and kicks, Aragaki's knife cut the victim in his finger, causing injuries that took 2 weeks to heal. Now, if this is not a poor pun or punchline of this particular situation, the guest house was called Foolery Guest House.
Mm-hmm.
Foolery Guest House. After arrest, Aragaki admitted to becoming enraged by the amount of pepper used, but denies some of the charges, claiming he hadn't intended to cut the victim. The two men apparently had known each other for a long time, so it is possible that the death threats and knife play are part of their regular relationship. But
I see what you did there.
Charges might suggest otherwise. Netizens commented things like, "I don't really like seasoning so much, but I won't go anywhere where they tell you how to eat your food. I'd like to know the amount that pushed him over the edge. That's scary. I'm sorry. I love putting pepper on my ramen. Please don't kill me. Get a load of the pepper, police. What kind of food was it? I kind of want to go there if they take so much pride in it." The website for Foolery Guest House, also known as Guest House Gukyoen, doesn't mention much about food aside from a breakfast of raw egg on rice, or tamago kake gohan, or miso soup for 500 yen, roughly about $4.80 US. The reports, however, say that the incident took place over an evening meal. It seems like it's a rather nice guest house, though, with a good location and pretty high ratings on Google and other hotel websites. While some didn't like the rustic aspects, a lot of former guests praised it, but it's not clear if that was actually Aragaki or another staff member. If you're traveling to Mie, though, you might consider staying at this quaint crime scene. However, go easy on the pepper if you do.
You see, that kind of reminds me of like that meme I've seen where, it shows a guy, shredding cheese onto a dish, and it says...
It just says, "Say when."
That
The room fills up with cheese. No survivors.
Or it's one where people who tell you you have too much Parmesan on your food are not friends. You don't need friends like that in your life. Something like that,
I'm one of those unfortunate sociopaths that will lock eyes with the server and make them sweat and question why they exist while they shave me some Parmesan.
I think that's all of us, basically.
No. I'm not a fan of Parmesan.
Fine, Asiago.
No. No, it's just a salty cheese that people add to food, and I want to be able to taste the food.
Well, whatever cheese that you like a lot of.
Cheese.
Okay, Monterey Jack. Okay, we have gone way over the allotted time, but we've had so much fun tonight and all that good stuff. And Sia Tabiri says, if you want to be treated bad, just go to Dick's Last Resort instead. Oh, we know. Believe you me, my friend, we know.
We're just making up for last week. We're giving you a double serving of Anime Jam Session tonight, guys.
Open wide.
That place.
After all of that we've talked about, no. Just no.
Yes,
No
yes.
double dosing, no opening wide, just no.
On a different note, the Groundhog did say we have 6 more weeks of winter for anybody who missed that.
Just so you know,
6
Puck...
more weeks of wine.
No, that just... Look, first thing first, fuck Puckswanee Phil. I'm a New Yorker, is what Staten Island Chuck said, and to be perfectly honest, I don't even remember what the hell he said, but, you know.
It doesn't
You don't even
matter.
consider Staten Island a real borough.
No, it
Exactly.
doesn't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter what the hell this little rodent is saying. There are still 6 weeks of winter, whether it saw its shadow or not.
And in your case, 6 more weeks of wine.
Exactly.
Ba-dum-bump, ba-dum-bump. So if you like the show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters. We do this for the fun of it. So if you have any questions about the show, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. And don't forget to check out our website at animejamsession.com, where we have our weekly podcasts, convention reviews, links to our YouTube videos, links to our Facebook galleries, anime reviews and editorials, cosplay tips and tricks, and cosplay interviews, and then some. It's all at animejamsession.com. And don't forget, if you like this show, you can find us on any podcasting app you have. Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM. Search Anime Jam Session. Check out all prior episodes, like over 480 episodes for your listening pleasure. Some good, some bad, and kind of enjoyable. So really enjoy it for what it is. And don't forget to follow us on social media at youtube.com/animejamsession for our convention videos, twitter.com/animejamsession for when we're going live, articles on our website, facebook.com/animejamsession for sometimes I'll throw some videos up there. You'll see our convention photos and then some. And we appreciate you throwing money at us for what we do, and we really appreciate it. All that money goes back into the site so that we can keep things going and other equipment we would need to keep the sites going and everything else. Streamlabs.com/animejamsession, Ko-Fi.com/animejamsession, and, you know, throw us a bit or subscribe to us. We appreciate every little thing. So now we're going to go around the room. Last words, Ari.
I'm just eager to get to bed. I know I don't have to go into work tomorrow, but I'm still friggin' tired from
No, I
being
feel
on
you. I feel you.
overnight shifts. Ugh.
I feel you on that one. Last words, Mako-chan.
I get yummy food this weekend, and I am so excited.
No shit, really? What you getting?
Mom is making me homemade fried chicken.
All right, I want more of her
That sounds
lasagna.
good.
I want a tray of that lasagna, though.
I can make you lasagna. The next time you're over, I will have a tray of lasagna made for you.
Because I will be taking it home with me, so.
Of course
That
you will.
sounds
That's why it's
delicious.
just going to go into the freezer as is.
Awesome. Last words, Ichigo.
Well, I am hoping to come back strong this Thursday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My channel, twitch.tv/strawberrypaperdoll. But otherwise, I will see you guys next Tuesday here on twitch.tv/animejamsession.
My last words. I'm going to have me some ice cream, relax, and watch more Lucifer. and then maybe I'll find something else to watch or get into some games. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Well, that is it. End of list. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Anime Jam Session. And don't forget to catch me at Under the Pale on Super Grosnot Brothers this Thursday at 9. That's it. We're getting out of here. So, I'm Ranma.
I'm Ari.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Ichigo Gami.
Great fight, great night. See you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Jamatane.
Say goodnight, Mako-chan.
Good night, Mako-chan.
That is it. Perfect. We're out of here. See you next week.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on the show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it! For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!